Hello and welcome to Business News Weekly with Business News Wales. I am your host, Connor Simmons. Coming up this week, a recent report outlines how Wales could make the transition to 100% renewable energy by 2035. We talked to David Jones at Marine Energy Wales to find out more. Vodafone UK's Dr. Rob Matthews explains how Cardiff's digital connectivity is set to be transformed with the arrival of 5G. Aaron Shotton, leader of Flintshire County Council, talks to us about the £1 billion North Wales growth deal. Professor Dylan Jones-Evans explains why small firms should be looking more closely at cybersecurity. And we spoke with the Chairman of Edenstone Homes, Jeff Taylor, who talks to us about an initiative they are a part of, which is helping bring clean water to a community in West Africa. But first, with more and more attention being drawn onto how we generate energy from renewable resources, I spoke to David Jones from Marine Energy Wales about what Wales is doing to ensure a greener future for us all.
My name is David Jones. I'm the Project Director at Marine Energy Wales. And our role at Marine Energy Wales is to promoting Wales as a location to come and develop marine energy, working with public bodies and the Welsh Government as well in terms of making it a good attractive place to come and do that. And then try and work through any issues, just maximise collaboration where we can.
So the Institute of Welsh Affairs has claimed that Wales can move to 100% renewable energy by 2035. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I do actually. I think it's ambitious. It's bold, but with the actual realisation of climate change and climate breakdown, I think we have to move in that direction. Ultimately, I don't believe that we have a choice in terms of making the push towards 100% renewable energy.
So what kind of methodology would that entail? What kind of technologies would we need to implement in order to hit that 100% mark?
The IWA report looks at, or at least 10 actions that they look for taking forward, and one of them is aimed at a future fund from Welsh Government. There's a focus around homes and the improved building standards and maintaining or using heat and electricity as efficiently as possible, but also about the importance of community benefit and retaining the benefits in Wales. Using some of the land that's in public body ownership. So Natural Resources Wales own quite a lot of the land that could be used for solar or onshore wind. Making sure that there's sufficient capacity and expertise in public bodies, because they're critical in helping us deliver the vision. All the way through from using smart grids, future-proofing grids, bioenergy, decarbonising transport, and the one that we're particularly interested in is getting ahead in marine energy.
So what is it about marine energy that has particularly got your interest?
First of all, I think the global potential is huge. We live on planet Ocean and not planet Earth, so to not gain energy from our seas is, from a non-engineering perspective, which is what I am, is quite nonsensical. The tide always goes in and out. You can plot it for 100 years in advance. We've got one of the highest tidal ranges in the world. We're fortunate to have a blend of resource around the Welsh coast. So we have tidal range, which is the tide coming in and out. We have tidal stream, which are currents that speed past our headlands. We have really good wave resource in the southwest, opportunities for things like floating offshore wind as well. So
obviously it's imperative that we do move towards cleaner energy sources. What sort of obstacles do you think would be in the way of that happening?
Government commitment. You need government policy and a route to market. I think in Wales we're fortunate that we have really supportive government, really supportive government policies, not just the policies but also the actions behind it in terms of allocating funding for things like marine energy. Less so supportive at a UK government level. So we really do need government support and a route to market. That's really important.
So aside from the obvious ecological benefits towards using more renewable energy, what could some of the economic benefits be?
Yeah, so we're seeing them already actually. So marine energy it's helping drive inward investment, particularly international inward investment. So we have really innovative companies like Minesto, who have their UK headquarters up in Anglesey. We also recently got Bombora, who are an Australian company, and they've set up their EU headquarters in southwest Wales. So it's driving inward investment, which is fantastic, and it's also creating really high-paid, skilled, low-carbon jobs. These are innovative jobs in areas that really need them most, the sort of coastal peripheral economies of Wales. So, we've seen some real job creation in Anglesey and in Pembrokeshire in particular. This is really important in terms of community economic positive impacts that the sector's having, and just also a future. There's great global export potential with the sector as well. So if we can, develop these innovation and IP and skills here, then you can export it into a global market.
Thank you so much for talking to us, David. Recently, Vodafone announced that they would be the first to switch on 5G in Cardiff. I spoke to Dr. Rob Matthews from Vodafone to tell us more about 5G and the impact it will have on the city.
So, my name is Dr. Rob Matthews. I'm a senior manager within Networks. I am responsible for the overall national plan for the rollout of our mobile network, and that includes the rollout of the 5G network. I'm currently building the individual locations where we are aiming to roll out 5G and working with our regional teams to deliver those 5G to those areas.
So, for the uninformed, what is the difference between 4G and 5G?
So 5G is essentially an iteration of 4G. It is a leap forward, but more in performance rather than a change in the use of the mobile frequencies. What it will do is it will give data speeds that are many times quicker than 4G currently delivers. This will then allow individuals to have high definition video calls and potentially hologram calls, which is something that we demonstrated late last year between a call with Steph Houghton, the Manchester City and England footballer, and our office in Newbury, where she was based in Newbury interacting with, she was based in Manchester interacting with people in Newbury.
So 5G is being rolled out by Vodafone in Cardiff. What are some of the local benefits that we can expect?
So I think our initial trial at the moment is to look at putting 5G into the major stadia. So you're looking at obviously Cardiff Arms Park and obviously the Principality Stadium, and at the moment, and not actually in the stadium but nearby. So what we're actually, one of the, I think the pieces in the press release was around enabling people to be able to access via Wi-Fi a high definition sort of video feed to be able to watch the other games, as exciting as it was at the weekend. But I think more importantly for Cardiff in general is you're going to introduce much more capacity. So as the Internet of Things really takes off and you're going to have many more connected devices talking to the network, what 5G will give you is that capacity. So essentially is they can all communicate at the same time. Again, I think the opportunities are endless where potentially you're going to be putting in more capacity, much faster data speeds and a much quicker network response time.
To North Wales now. £1 billion growth deal for North Wales was highlighted recently at a business conference. I'm joined by the leader of Flintshire County Council to tell us more.
So I'm Councillor Evan Shotton, so I'm the leader of Flintshire County Council, but also the chair of the North Wales Economic Ambition Board. So it's a board that consists of the 6 local authorities across North Wales.
So tell us more about the growth deal.
We came together as a North Wales Economic Ambition Board back in 2016, where we'd identified that economic development, business support across the region, it's fair to say, was fragmented. So therefore the 6 county councils came together to form a constituted joint committee, which is the Economic Ambition Board. So it's a decision-making body that, in due course, will deliver interventions into the regional economy and aid economic growth. So we came together to form a growth division, which in due course we were invited by the then Chancellor, George Osborne, to work towards delivering a growth deal for the region. And we're now, I think it's fair to say, we're now after 2 2 very long years working up the detail of our vision and our growth deal. But we're particularly pleased that in recent months we've had 240 million of announcements and commitments towards the growth deal for the region. We've got a really strong foundation to build upon. And the coming months we aim to get to what we term a heads of terms, so that's the formal agreement stage in July, with the ambition to begin to deliver the projects that we aim to deliver for the economy by the financial year, start of the financial year next year in 2020.
As an online news platform, Business News Wales always takes special interest in digital matters, particularly cybersecurity. I'm joined by Dylan Jones-Evans from the University of South Wales to talk about how this sector impacts the nation.
Well, cybersecurity is in itself one of the fastest growing technology sectors in the world. The spending on cybersecurity products and services to combat the crime that comes from cybersecurity will exceed $1 trillion by 2021. And it's estimated that cybercrime will actually cost the world $6 trillion by the same time by 2021. That's up from $3 trillion a couple of years ago. But the real focus, the problem is that it tends to be large companies that tend to spend money on combating cybercrime through various security measures. And it's something that many small firms, to be honest, aren't really focusing on in terms of protecting their businesses.
So the UK government has recently issued a survey on the impact of cybercrime on small businesses. What has this survey taught us?
What it shows that, believe it or not, 42%, nearly half of all small businesses, and those are businesses employing less than 50 employees, have actually been breached in the last 12 months. And with a fifth of these firms taking a day or more to recover from that. And if you think of that in the context of small businesses, you know, for a large business, it wouldn't really make a difference as it costs a day because you'd have a range of people looking after that. For a small business, in many cases, a vital employee is taken away from their normal business to try and deal with the fallout that comes from the security breaches arising from these cyber attacks.
And what form are these cybersecurity attacks taking for small businesses?
Well, it can happen in a whole range of things. In that, what happens is that you'll get attacked in terms of the passwords that you have, and it's obviously we all use passwords to actually access our computers. And what tends to happen, it's still amazing how many people still have things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 as their main password. And many aren't actually dealing with this. So, you know, one of the things that we're all instructed to do, which is to use strong passwords made up of lower and uppercase letters, numbers and symbols. Very few businesses tend to do that, and as a result, they're easily attacked.
And how important is the cybersecurity industry in Wales?
Well, it's becoming more and more important because what you find is that there clearly aren't enough individuals with the right cybersecurity skills to deal with many of these problems faced, but not only by SMEs, but all companies. And in particular, I think there was a recent survey that showed that 66%, that's 2/3 of all UK companies, don't actually have the right type of personnel to meet their needs to impact on security. And what's actually happening in Wales, which is quite different to other parts, is that we actually have one of the strongest cybersecurity clusters in the UK. And the impact on Wales is that means that increasingly tech companies are going to be attracted to Wales because of the skills that are coming out of not only the University of South Wales, but other places like Cardiff University are focusing on data science. So actually, when it comes to cyber, it is a major threat, obviously, to many companies, but it's also a real opportunity for Welsh businesses and particularly Welsh academia to actually come up with the solutions that meet the particular needs of those companies faced by the threats that come from cybersecurity.
Going from the necessities of safe cyber practices to the necessities of life itself, our next story follows an initiative by a Welsh house builder to provide clean water to those in need. We spoke to Jeff Taylor, Chairman of Edenstone Homes, to find out more.
Well, the company is a house builder. We're currently building over 100 units a year, 100 sales a year we do. and we're on the rise. We turnover this year about 35 million. We try to be a little bit different. We try to be, but in other words, we try to be innovative and be ahead of our time, really. So and we like that because we're a family-owned business mainly, and major shareholding is owned by the Taylor family. So it's something that we're proud of what we do, and have been proud of it for 40 or so years.
So tell us about the project in Togo.
Yeah, Togo in Western Africa. It's something that we tied up with Compassion. We like to, through the foundation that we've established, we like to work with partners that deliver a service. And Compassion is someone I've personally known for about 15 or so years. They've got a project in Togo, in a village, in a community there. Where the initial phases of it are to put in water and then sanitation facilities for the village. The villages in Africa are mixed, as you would know. Urban areas tend to be quite well supported, but the rural areas they depend on their own small crop gatherings. And they're very poor, and there's no water, no sanitation in the village, in the outskirts of the villages in Togo. So we are supporting first up with Compassion, providing the expertise there. They have, with Compassion, they have communities there that establish a project, as they call it, of children mainly, and they support up to about 300 children in any one village. And the villages there, being quite poor, haven't got any water, haven't got any sanitation, and we will be sort of providing the support, financial support for doing that. So that's the kind of our first phase, and that's going to take. They're in progress on it, and that's going to take about 18 months, 2 years, probably another 12 months to 18 months before that's finally done its rounds. On top of that, what we're also doing, as well as the clean water and sanitation, we're doing what was called a child support initiative, and that child support initiative is to help ladies who are mums and toddlers effectively, because there's not many children go through a life of pregnancy. They from being born, they, for the first year of their lives and even before then, the actual survival rate is quite low. So we're actually setting up with Compassion in the same village a child support service there, which we're pleased to be involved with as well. So, and the third part, with our same village, we would have people who would support a child. We'd have the opportunity of any one of our team, any one of our staff supporting a child financially, so that they can have education and various other training, so that they get eventually to being ready to go into the workplace.
And finally, I have Terry Ann in the studio to keep us all updated with the key business events happening this week. Terry Ann, what have you got for us?
So we have so much going on next week with over 30 events listed on site. On the 3rd of April, Limestone Grey will be at the Cardiff Barclays Eagle Lab offering businesses free R&D tax credit advice. All you need to do is book in a time slot. The 4th of April brings us the annual Marine Energy Wales Conference, which is being held in the Celtic Manor in Newport. It's now in its 10th year. It's a chance to showcase that part of Welsh industry. There will be discussions on both current projects and future plans, as well as ample opportunity to network, both during the conference in the day and the networking dinner being held after the conference. To finish the week, on Friday the 5th, the much-awaited Finance Awards Wales is being held at Cardiff City Hall, a night to celebrate and highlight the contribution made by the finance sector to the Welsh economy and, of course, to showcase the finance talent. As always, all details and links to book and register can be found on the events section on Business News Wales.
And that's all we have time for this week. For all the latest Welsh business news, you can find us at businessnewswales.com. Till next time.